All right, and let me do the same. Okay, thank you, everybody, for coming. It's August 16th, is it? August 16th, and I appreciate everybody being here at the end of their summer, especially Kevin, who I know had not originally been able to be here. So thank you, Kevin, for readjusting your schedule. Did everybody get the agenda that I sent out?
Yes.
I did. Yes.
Okay, is everybody okay with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then begins with updates from.
Sure. Well, one of the things that I can say is that my public safety team that we're at full strength, and all of our officers have their basic peace officer training. Now they're, I have 22 officers who are waiting their special patrolman certification, which is up to the NYPD based on their background investigation, which will be fine because we do our preliminary background investigation, and we will have all of our officers fully trained, fully certified, and not too long in the near future. I'm hoping for. That's one of the things. We had just concluded a class of 11 officers who needed their basic peace officer training. They all passed the class, and they're all on the street with more knowledge than they started with. So I'm happy for that. One of the things that I'll jump into the crime stats and the verticals. Crime, I like to say this, and I will continue to say this. Roosevelt Island, one of the safest communities in New York City, still remains one of the safest community. We have some quality of life issues that PSC must address in conjunction with the 114 precinct, who are our partners in law enforcement. But we will continue to keep the island safe. My officers are 1,000% dedicated to the task at hand, and we will continue to protect Roosevelt Island. Crime statistics for the month of July. We had 5 index crimes, what we call felonies, index crimes. They were 1 grand larceny, 3 assaults, and 1 burglary. And I have no AC in my office, and I'm about to pass out. I don't know who did that to me, but they turned off the AC in here, so it's about 95 degrees in my office.
Goodness.
You should have more juice than that, Kevin. Tell him to turn it back on, man.
Take off your shirt.
So, just give me 1 second.
You want to see
all right?
that
And
wife beater you got on?
I'm gonna turn on my my portable AC unit. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, yeah, Marosa too.
Wow.
Okay, now I got 3 assaults. It was 5 altogether. What was the other one? I had missed it. He said,
A burglary.
oh, 1 burglary.
Burglary, yeah.
Grand larceny.
Miami. 1 grand larceny, 3
Okay.
assaults, and
And
I think 3 or 4 burglaries. No, just 1.
1
I
burglary,
think-
1 burglary, grand larceny, 3 assaults, and what was the other? There was 5 altogether.
Okay.
We'll wait
3
for
assaults.
because Anthony wants to give it.
Oh,
1 what?
I apologize for that. It was 1 grand larceny auto, 3 assaults, and 1 burglary.
Okay, we're going to have a problem with your sound. I can tell already, Kev.
Yeah.
Maybe you put something over your mic or something. Speak now. No, now we can't hear you at all. Speak again.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you, but you sound a little muffled. Is something over your mic? You were fine before.
Hear me now? Is this better?
A little
A
bit.
little bit.
How about this? Is this better?
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks.
All right, that's what my portable fan is. I guess it's blowing.
Sorry.
Okay, so we had the three crimes. One grand larceny auto, that was a motorcycle that was stolen from Motorgate. One of the good things that RIOC has done, they've upgraded the video system, so we were able to track the perpetrators who removed the bike along with the complainant, and the complainant was able to recover his bike in Queens with the help of RIOC's video system, tracking the motorbike, tracking on their plate reader. We didn't catch the perpetrators, but we were able to help him recover his motorcycle. We had
All
three
right.
assaults. And I've been saying this for some time. We had a workshop last year on domestic violence in this community. It wasn't very well attended, but it continues to plague Roosevelt down, like other neighborhoods also. And we had three assaults. One was a domestic violence incident where it was a father and a daughter. The father was arrested. We also had an assault at Food Town where an unknown person struck another person. That perpetrator was not arrested. And we had an assault down in the subway system. Two people were fighting on the subway. They got off at Roosevelt Island and they were quickly apprehended by public safety and the transit police. And those were our three assaults. And then we had a burglary. Our burglary happened when equipment was stolen from a work truck, which is classified as a burglary. It was actually a work truck who was doing work on Roosevelt Island for Sports Park. We did not apprehend the perpetrators in that case. And those were our five crimes for the month. I continue to say that, crime is down on Roosevelt Island. Crime it's one of the things that we do have to stay on top of. One trend that was a trend back in March and April, we kind of put a quietness to it. We had a number of petty larcenies. The petty larcenies were predominantly from Walgreens, Wayne Reed, in Riverwalk area, right next to the F train. We posted an officer at that location back in April, and it kind of went down. Last month we were back up to eight petty larcenies in the area. We've talked to the establishment, and I think one of the things that could help is if they had their private security guard. They don't think that it's cost effective. That's one of the reasons that I've been given, but we continue to have this problem, even with the officer who's stationed there at the location. But we are staying on top of it. As far as as that trend, it went up and down. I think with the summer months, just more people were in and out of that store, more people on the subway, and who are up to committing that type of act. But we will stay on top of it. That's our job, to stay on top of it. We don't have the same issues down at Food Town any longer, so I think that the officer, will help as it had in previous months. We have a few quality of life issues that are going on. One quality of life issue that I will talk about later on also, but marijuana smoking. One of the I've had discussion with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. I've had discussions with residents. Marijuana possession and smoking up to a certain amount is not against the law. It's decriminalized. We were constantly called to kind of navigate the decriminalization of the marijuana, and we're doing the best that we can. We are talking to the buildings, to the residents, and trying to keep a handle on this. I'm sure that this will come up in later, but it is our quality of life issue that we are trying to keep a handle on.
Kevin, can I just ask you, what
Yes.
area are you seeing a lot of the marijuana smoking? Because remember a couple years back, we did something on this and we had put up flyers and we had tried to do an educational campaign
Yes.
to smokers to sort of say, yo, don't do
It's no
this in
longer
front of your
at the-
kid's school, blah, 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 blah.
It's no longer on the promenades. It's not prevalent on the promenades. It's right on Main Street, the smoking,
Yes.
right in front of the buildings,
Yes,
in the apartments. No one's hiding from smoking marijuana. It's right out in the open. So.
But not in front of the schools, not
No,
where the
not-
children
not-
are, not in
no.
front of playgrounds. I just,
No,
because.
no,
like
I
you
haven't
said,
seen
it's
it
legal.
in the playgrounds. We haven't had many complaints
Okay,
of anyone smoking in the playgrounds or even the parks. People are just smoking, walking down the street.
okay.
And a lot of apartment smoking.
Yeah.
Which, we're getting lots of complaints, we know, and
That's
unfortunately,
building.
it's legalized. It's not a
And that's the building. The building has it in their leases to not smoke or smoke-free environments, which means they need to.
Yeah,
Deal
well,
with the tenant,
it's
right?
it's not a law enforcement issue
Right.
per se. We can't even. It's almost like if we told somebody to put out a cigarette in their building. That's not. They're not committing a crime or even
Right.
a violation. So along with that, that is our quality, one of our quality of life issues that we are addressing, that we are trying to, trying to navigate through it. One of our top calls for service, and it always remains, is people on our island get sick very much. Our number one call is for ADA cases. We must respond to them. Us on the PSD or the 114, someone must respond. Someone must make sure that there is no uncared for adult or child or even a pet. It does take up a lot of our time, but it is something that we're actually mandated to do, is to respond to these ADA cases. And 60% of our calls are for sick residents on the island. And I can tell you, it does come in hand. I've had a number of people who have thanked my PSC officers for coming to the apartment. I had a woman, we had National Night Out a couple of days ago, and a woman came to me and said that her mother was taken out of the apartment. They couldn't get in touch with her. They came to PSD, and one of my PSC officers was trying to make a notification and found her and let her know that her mother was taken to the hospital. So it is a necessary, very, very necessary job of the police. And if there's nothing for the police or law and public safety to do, we take a note and we leave. But that is a big part, is to notifying a next of kin whenever these ADA cases occur. We have a number of found property issues. We find property or it's turned into PSD. We try to hook them up with their rightful owner whenever we take in found property. And then our next highest is investigate these smoking marijuana in the buildings. So as far as verticals are going, we continue to conduct the verticals in Motorgate, in Eastwood, CNC, Roosevelt Landing. We had 257. In Motorgate, we had 331. Just checking the area, making sure that everything is okay. Island House, Westview, River Cross, they remain in the 20s. We probably do one vertical a day in those areas. Our new location that we will be doing conducting verticals are at 460 Main Street. We will do verticals a minimum of one per day. We've talked to the building management to be a partner with us when we do this. I understand this, and I've had meetings and I've talked to people. Some people in the building, when they call, they don't want to leave their name. They don't want to their name on the report. But that is helpful to know who is complaining. My PSC officers can only act on the complaint if there's an anonymous complainant. And no one comes and no one helps us. We can only investigate as much as we can without someone being there to point out what they saw, what they hear, or what's going on. So our officers will conduct the verticals each and every day, minimum of one per tour, sometimes more. But the minimum amount is one per tour in 460 Main Street. From the beginning of the year, we've gotten over 150 complaints in that building alone. So, you know, we have to act on this.
How many complaints? 460?
No, over 150.
150, I can
Yes.
confirm that.
150.
Okay,
Yeah.
since when?
150.
This month?
Since the beginning of the year.
Yep,
What kind of complaints were they?
Yeah, I was gonna
There's
ask the same.
A lot of them are smoking marijuana.
smoking.
I would say 60% are smoking marijuana, 60 to 70% smoking marijuana. We get these complaints 3 times a day. Someone smoking marijuana. They smell smoke of marijuana.
But in the hallways or in their apartments?
Mostly in their apartments.
The apartments and in the common areas and in the stairwells.
In this.
And we're working hand in hand with management, you know, to set up reports so that they can take legal action. But as far as public safety action or police action, it's perfectly legal. Even our legal teams, there's nothing you can do. Because, you know, even if you tell him to put it out and he tells you no, but you can do a report, you can't arrest
But
for it.
if the building has signs up in the building which says no smoking, no
It's not an
smoking.
arrest. It's not
That's
an
a
arrest.
civil matter. That's a civil
but
matter.
I mean, whether it's you're telling you have to put it out, if it says no smoking, it's no smoking, right? And then
No,
I guess
they have to deal with civil court and they have to deal with the management. The only-
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's really a building thing. The only thing you guys could do would be to refer whoever that person was that you spoke to the building. Is that what's going to happen?
We can do a report of what we observed and give it to management. That's
Right, is that what you're doing for
Yes.
460?
what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
That's what, may I interject, Aaron? Because
Sure.
our subcommittee 460, which I'm on and the lead person in, met with Kevin and Anthony at the end of August, was it, guys? Middle
Yes.
August. We met with them in management. I set up the meeting with them, with our subcommittee, to go over the very same things that we're talking about. Now, they're in the process. We met again with them on August 9th. So the subcommittee and the management is working very, very closely together on these very sensitive issues, along with PSD collectively. To the first thing that they're doing that we pushed for is definitely the signage in the stairwells, definitely in the common areas. And those are the things that we're working closely with PSD. And then finally, we worked with management and had them follow up with the letter that I sent to both Kevin and Anthony regarding inside of the building as far as patrols are concerned. And that's what they've started this week. So that's my input.
And Barbara, we met with management again.
I know, because I told them to. I asked them to call you guys
Yeah,
and
we did.
follow up from the letter that the email that I sent you guys. And I know that you met with them and they
Yes,
came
we
back
did.
and told us, I got an email, our subcommittee got an email with reference to when the patrols were going to start. Yes.
So let me ask you something, Kevin. So then Kramer has bought in to putting in like the other wire buildings. I mean, the rest of his buildings do not get patrols. The rest of Southtown they have not asked for patrols in those buildings. So he's only doing it in his quote unquote mixed use building. And is that he paying in like the other buildings pay in to RIOC for public safety service?
He pays in for building 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, for 4, what did you say? I'm
That's
sorry.
4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Oh,
He pays for. He only the building management, they only requested the verticals in the one building, building 8.
Oh, okay. I
And
didn't
that
realize
is-
it was
That
paying.
is because we
The
have over
problem.
150 complaints.
Right. No,
We have no complaints in the other buildings.
my son happens to have the unfortunate luck of living on the floor with the flood. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt. Good work, Barbara.
Thank you, Dolly.
There's a question. Is there an equivalent to public drinking laws covered containers for marijuana? The answer is no.
Oh,
This makes it harder for you guys. I mean,
It's legal.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The expectation,
It's
though,
not
the
hard.
community is like, you're supposed to be able
Yes.
to do something, which we all knew this was going to happen. And they can't wrap their heads around it. So management really has to understand, and education maybe from this committee has to happen, where people understand that it's not pleasant for, the grandmothers or parents who have children around, and have a little bit more insight, like we tried to do years ago, and they kind of gave us, it didn't go off well for some, although I thought, the educational.
Just like smoking a cigarette now.
Yes. It is.
Which is
almost the
obnoxious.
same.
No, it's no different.
Right. Okay,
Oh,
sorry, go
all
ahead. Kev.
So one of the good things is that we do have one officer and one additional officer trained for the bike patrols.
Oh,
We have 5 more officers who will be trained in the very near future, but our training comes from NYPD, and they have been swamped with trying to get their people trained, and we just been on a hold and on a waiting list as far as being officer being trained in bike patrol. I know it's the end of the summer, but we will get it done. And one of my officers who is bike patrol trained, he is riding his bike. He's up and down. He's doing a fantastic job out there. So
what shift is he on?
he's on the 3 to 11,
Great, that's a good one to
Sorry.
be for that.
3 to 11 shift.
And just one?
Just one
One-
additional, and I also have 2 other officers who are trained, and one officer on the midnight, one officer on the day tour.
Are they also on their bikes? Even I know they're trained, but do they tend to be on the bikes? Do we have one
Occasionally.
on every shift?
Occasionally, they're on their bikes.
It would be good to
Not
encourage
every
that-
day
that
and not
whole
every
back. Yeah, okay.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes we need them in other places.
Right, of
Yes.
course.
We have to make that, what's
Yeah.
going on.
So I'm gonna, like I can go down the agenda. Anyone can jump in and and if they have any questions.
Okay.
Going down dogs unleashed on the fields, poop patrol issues. We by public safety guys, they are monitoring unleashed dogs on the field. Anyone who, for the most part, when we approach someone who has an unleashed dog on the field, they comply. Some people don't appreciate my public safety officers approaching them for an unleashed dog on the field, but that's what we do. They're not supposed to have them on the field. One of the things that RIOC is in the process of doing is setting up a new dog run. So until that dog run was completed, one of the things that PSC was mainly doing was warning people that they cannot have any unleashed dogs on the field. We have not had many repeat offenders. Once they're warned, they pretty much comply, and we try to keep the fields free of unleashed dogs. Poop patrol, I have to be honest. We're not.
Oh, Mary has her hand up. Can you break for a second?
Let me just
Let her
say,
finish.
Let 'em
Okay,
finish.
we are not
Okay.
walking behind dog owners and going on poop patrol. And I have to be honest with you. We're not going to, if we see a person not clean up after themselves, after their dogs, we will issue a summons. But to be honest and totally transparent, we're not following dog owners to make sure that they clean up their poop. But if we do see them, we will issue summons. And you know, it's something that is terrible, not just on Roosevelt Island, it's all over the city. There has been an influx of dogs everywhere. We were talking about it in the office earlier. I guess maybe since the pandemic, there has been just an abundance of new dog owners. But they must follow the rules. And if we see them not clean up after their dog, we will definitely issue a summons. Mary?
Okay,
Yes,
Mary.
I wanted to know because for months, we've been hearing that the dog runs are going to be opened. And do we have a date?
I could take a note and I could bring this up with RIOC, but public safety, we that's kind of like not in our wheelhouse of what-
I'll ask Rosanna, and I'll send something out also to the committee. She was working pretty closely with Shelton on trying to do it. So she might also, if Kevin doesn't get the info, we might be able to
Yeah,
get
well,
some.
I asked the question because Kevin mentioned the dog runs.
Right. Well,
Well,
they need the dog runs. That's a major thing is for them.
I believe
to-
Rosanna had brought it up last meeting and she said she was
Mm.
working with Shelton on getting them open.
Right.
Like the chief said, as far as when they're going to be opened, it's really not public safety's decision of when they're gonna be open. It's when they're ready and when everything goes.
No, I
Right.
didn't,
And
I knew
hopefully
it wasn't
the-
your decision. I thought you might have knowledge on
No, I don't have any knowledge on that.
it. Okay.
Any other comments on this particular subject? Has anybody seen an improvement? Is it as bad as it's ever been? Are the promenade, is it any better? Bab, I see your hand up. Do you want to speak, Bab? Barbara,
Huh?
did you
Oh,
have
no.
your hand up?
No, I didn't have my hand up. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Dawn.
Okay,
All
right.
The dogs on firefighters field is much better the last 2
Oh,
months
good.
than it was. Yeah. So
that's
great
good to
job.
hear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'd like to
that-
hear,
that-
is whether there's improvement from the community. So that's why I'm sort of putting it out to you guys. What have you seen? And that's good to hear.
That
So
was our number one violators were on firefighters field. And our
Yeah.
officers are out there. There's an officer who's in the Riverwalk area and they monitor that area closely.
Oh, so do you think it's better because you now have a patrol there?
Well,
Do you take the
that
improvement?
officer who is at Riverwalk is the subway, the drugstore, the firefighters field, that person 460, that person's he or she has a lot of responsibility and they're up to the task. So, and one of the things that they are monitoring dogs on the field.
Yeah, I see them walking around the whole area all the time.
That's great.
So next thing on the list was the parking unloading areas on Main Street.
Yeah.
I have a post out there. We have a post out there. We're doing the best that we can for our trucks. We try to put them in the breezeway. If they're going into Island House, Westview, we have allowed people to park on 591 Plaza to unload and load. I say this, some people complain that they can't unload and load. They can ask the officer who's standing out there, can you help me? And the officer will help them each and every time. They've been instructed to help. So there are some people who they don't ask the officer. They just say that they can't park, they can't unload. There is an officer out there. They will always give them a place or tell them where they can park to load and unload. There are some people who just leave their vehicles unattended and the officers have no idea where they went or what they're doing. And those people, unfortunately, they get summons and they come running into my office and I say, did you were parked illegally. I would say 99.9% of the time, all they have to do is ask the officer out on Main Street. They will direct them to a place to park. That's what they're out there for, to keep Main Street as clear as possible so that people can load and unload.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you, my super had actually told Ike, we have not had a problem. We have used when we have the truck, we have used the breezeway. It's been good. Our super though mentioned to not leave, the truck, because unless, when the crossing guard is there, there's not a problem. If one of your officers is there and available, that we haven't had a problem. So I think it's been good. I spoke to the deli owner. They haven't had a problem. I think people appreciate now having that space open. And I think in our area, it has helped with the congestion. Although, you got those kids in the school, we can't, but
Aaron, I've personally spoke to the deli owner about his deliveries up on the 591 Breezeway. It's worked out fine for him.
right. That's what I said. I think it was a good suggestion, and it's helped a problem. So Mary, how are you doing down in your neck of the woods? Everything all right down there? Or you had said
Nothing has
last month
changed.
it was better.
Nothing has changed. Cars parked constantly with no muni ticket on the dashboard. Never a ticket written.
I thought you had
We write
mentioned that it was
Mary, we
better
write
last.
so many
People
tickets.
were
Mary.
in the breezeways, and that you had noticed an improvement of the cars parked there last in July when we spoke, because you
Oh.
did see them utilizing the breezeway, as Kevin was trying to say he was trying
No,
to.
I don't think I ever said that, but I will say that today I was looking and there were a lot of open parking places. And I just thought, whoa, August, I suppose. And of course, when it's going to get horrible? Just before Labor Day, when all the college kids are going off to college. And everybody's got their car parked or double parked and they're loading it up with stuff. That will be a problem. But right now there were very few cars parked, but the ones that were parked did not have a muni ticket on their dashboard. And you know what else I'm noticing? When I walk my doggy and I go down the river, what used to be Eastwood, breezeways, a lot of people are parking in those breezeways now. I mean, really parking, leaving their cars there for some length of time. Is that allowed?
The Breezeway,
Management allows it. The owner of the building is responsible and allows, especially over on the Roosevelt landings.
Yeah.
They allow all of those people, they allow it. They can't ticket them for that. Doreen gives out permits and, okays it.
No,
It's up
no
to the.
skin off my teeth.
it's private property.
So, yeah. It's always been, because it means the trucks can't come there if there's all these other people parking there. So. Okay.
I don't know. The trucks can still get into that where they do.
Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
I said that the parking that I see would not interfere in any way with trucks parking briefly to load or to unload.
Okay.
But there's always a FedEx or a US mail. You've heard me say this a million times.
Okay.
They're parked in front of the hydrant.
Okay. Any other?
The FedEx and the US mail, and we have a tremendous issue with them. And we ticket them, and but we do have tremendous issues with them. The drivers of those trucks, I think that they feel that they don't have to pay any ticket, so they just make their deliveries and try to get in and out as quickly as possible. But we have a lot of back and forth with them.
A national night out that he parked right in front of in the whole entire event, and we had to summons him. And he's like, I don't care, I'm not paying it.
Yeah.
When we had in Rivercross, a man died who had been a firefighter. And there was a big mass, tons of cars parked. A lot of firefighters came to attend this gentleman's funeral. And I have to admit, I was amused when I saw an SUV firefighter parked in front of the hydrant. I mean, what are you going to do? We have to keep those hydrants clear for the firefighters, right? And there they are parking in front of it.
This was the day of a funeral?
Oh, it was a big, yes, John Connolly's funeral. There were cars, there were firefighters all over the place. And
Okay.
They usually make exceptions for that funeral.
Yeah, let's pull it back.
Especially a
Go ahead, Kevin.
firefighter.
Okay, there's a new signage up and working. One of the things that I can say that I do know of that RIOC with the traffic study, and we're just trying to make the signage a little bit better.
Yeah.
They're still working on it. This
Okay,
is
so
something but we do have the temporary fixes that needed to be done. One-way signs in certain areas, clearing some signs, not having motor vehicles drive on the promenades. Those signs are up. So this is working. This is this is a work in progress, I would say, to making a better Roosevelt Island for the signage and compliance, not just a sign just to throw it up, but a sign for compliance and making sure that everybody understands what the signs mean and what they should be doing.
Is there a date of completion on when they should have that study finished and get the stuff done?
I don't have that exactly. I can talk to Prince and
Okay.
and get back to you.
That would be good. Frank, your hand is up.
Yep, thank you. And here we go. You can see here I am at Home Depot. So I'm at work right now. Anyway, so which means I can only talk for a little bit. Just real quick on the signs, I did a little more research. So those things that we have in the middle of the intersections, it says something like it's a stop sign that has while pedestrians are in the crosswalk. I'm forgetting the exact number of the sign from the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, but that one that we have is not legal in the state of New York. Is explicitly excluded in the vehicle and traffic law as a valid sign. So that means then the yield one is okay, but the stop one is not. And that's why I say, because I think it has a confusing meaning potentially to motorists. So I'll send you the citation on that, the legal citation as in where it says that in the law. The other thing.
You're saying that you want to cite what is to write a citation on RIOC for placing the signs there?
No. Citation as in like the bibliographic reference.
Okay.
So you
A
want
different
those,
type of
you want,
citation.
Frank, you want those signs that everyone wants in the middle, you want them
Right.
moved?
No, I'm
He
just
wants the one that says stop sign, not the yields. There's the ones that said yield to people that are in the middle, but
Yeah, you can't-
yeah.
you
And
can't use
actually, somebody brought it up again and says they want them back before school because it's very,
the yield ones
dangerous.
are legal, the stop sign ones are not.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, no stop signs, then yield signs. That's what's.
Right,
But
I
there
know.
aren't any anyway. They're all gone.
What happened to them?
No,
That's not
people-
true that they're all gone. Hold on, Tony.
Yeah.
Where is
And-
one?
That is not true that they're all gone.
Where
I
are
have-
they?
The stop signs are there. There are a number.
Tell me
of
where. Tell me exactly where there is one.
I will have my officers take pictures and put them up, but they're there. man.
Okay.
All right.
I can tell you where there's one. There's one in the Helix.
No. Somebody brought up to me specifically, they
Where's
just.
Nina?
Yeah, Nina, the question, Nina's not here, right? She had to take a call. When will PSD or RIOC install the small sign, stop sign, yield sign to the crosswalks between 501 and 625 Main Street? Crossing Main Street at these crosswalks, especially for one by the chapel, 540 Main remains dangerous for humans of all ages and abilities. So he's saying maybe they're up at the Helix, Frank, but
No, I'm right. I just, Mary said, where is one? I
oh,
pointed to
50,
one.
well, the point is 501 to 625 on Main Street. That's
Okay,
it.
I believe they're down, but regardless, if you're going to replace them, you need to use the yield ones because the stop sign ones are not legal. And my apologies for using the word citation. I know you guys use it. I was using it in a different way. Didn't mean anything like that. Just meant I'll give you the statute number.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
Frank.
thank you, Frank.
I'll
You can
clear
mute
on
now.
that.
Okay,
And just so you guys know, they
I
keep
have
getting run over by by cars in the community, and we keep replacing them and replacing them and replacing them. We're ordering them faster than we
Okay.
can.
I also wanted to say one more thing, which possibly goes against what the community has said, but I feel strongly about it, is there's the conspicuity, so conspicuousness of some of the signs. And I think that would actually add to the safety on the intersection, on the crosswalk. So for example, according to the standard, traffic control, regulation stuff, you can add conspicuity to, for example, in the crosswalks by having either a flashing red light or an alternating flashing red light, top and bottom, like that, or there's several configurations, but they highly recommend them. And so when someone says, hey, there's too many signs, you guys are actually complying with the law and regulation on that. And I don't want it reduced if it improves safety.
Frank, I think that you are 1,000% correct that the flashing lights on the stop signs would make better sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I will make that suggestion to RIOC.
Yes.
Okay, great.
That's-
Okay,
that's
go ahead,
great.
Kevin.
I'll send you the citation or whatever, the legal,
Yes.
one on that, because that's a standard practice.
All right, Frank. No,
You're 1,000%
background
correct.
noise is
I
really,
have one more quick thing. There was an accident at the base of the Roosevelt Island Bridge. I think it was Sunday night. I can't tell you how that accident happened, but it was there for at least an hour or so. So on the way back, originally we're from NYPD dealing with traffic control to public safety. There are a couple officers in the middle of the intersection because of the headlights, very bright. The officers were not wearing safety vests, and they really need to be wearing a safety vest every time they get in traffic control. There was one I didn't even see until I was 10 feet in front of them. So I'm not trying to bust, the
gloves
officers,
on,
but they need to use safety vests when they're in traffic.
Again, Frank, 1,000% correct. Our officers are equipped with their safety vests, and I will make a note that they must wear them when they are out there.
Yeah, just a nod. Thank you. Want them to be safe.
Yes, you're 1,000% correct. And they do have their safety vests, and they should have had them on that night. I agree with you 1,000%. Thank you again.
okay, we're on to our cushions, right?
I think that the speed cushions are effective. I stop and I drive around the island. I drive all around the island, everywhere that they have the speed cushions. I think that they're effective. I know that they're slowing down people. The people who are trying to avoid them, they're doing their darndest to avoid them. But for the law-abiding citizens, it is working. It's slowing people down where they need to be slow. And we are working to make sure that they are effective.
How about what Mickey
agree.
had suggested as a bicyclist? They were and also placing them ahead of the stop signs, like a certain amount of feet, so that they're slowing down, and the placement of them. A couple of people, a couple of meetings ago had mentioned it.
I think that the placement of them, and a lot of other people who they say that the placement of them are working. As far as a bicyclist, there is room for the bicyclist to go past without going over the speed hump.
Where? The
where-
one I think they were talking about was over on the other side by Cornell, maybe.
They can go.
mean-
they don't have to go over it. They can go right there. There's room for them to ride without going over the speed cushion.
Did they move it in their
No,
lane?
there was-
In
there
their
was-
lane, they can go.
Yes,
If I
there was-
remember when
it does not take up the whole lane.
No, I know,
speed-
but it was
yes.
in the bike lane rather than it seemed in the regular part
But
of the.
it does not
maybe
take up the entire bike lane. There is room for a bike to ride right through without going over it.
And we've had
I
we've
don't
had
think it's a
zero.
bad idea. They shouldn't be going that fast anyway.
I was just
So,
gonna say that.
I'm not,
that it-
but
it's
I'm also
15
saying
miles an hour
placement for
anyway.
a stop sign. I'm not disagreeing. These
Yes.
were comments from
Yes.
people who ride, and I just wanted to make sure that opinion, since whether it was considered and documented.
Yes.
The cushion is falling apart at the one by the school. I think it's on the northbound side, on the back side of it. It seems to be coming apart.
Well, you know, one of the things that I was going to talk about with the traffic and even with the stop signs in the middle intersections, we have a lot of traffic on this island,
No.
and it's constant. Our roads are being beat up. We have one road in, one road out. So every car must go on the same road all day, every day. These roads are, they're used 24/7. So things do wear down. There is a lot of wear and tear. The stop signs do get hit because we have a lot of trucks. If you look at where these signs are all over New York City, they're usually somewhere near a school, very low traffic. They want to keep the people slow so that, you know, that the school crossing works. We have these stop signs all the way up and down Main Street. We have truck traffic, deliveries, cars, bicycles, every type of vehicle known to man. And we're trying to keep them in the best condition as possible.
Okay, well, Frank mentioned, there's one that's wearing out, so they may just want to take a look
Yes.
at that.
I will definitely, I do surveys of most of the issues, traffic, transportation, the streets. I drive around the island every single day that I'm here.
Right, good. I'm sure you do. Okay, July 4th, I heard it was a big success.
I
Sent
would
my
say,
niece for me, she loved it.
I would say that it was a success. We had a plan. That was the first thing. We had a really, really good plan. It involved PSC, NYPD, the MTA, the transit police, and we had a good plan for the people to have an enjoyable night. Even with you know, I don't know how to, and it's not my job to address the ticket issues. But anybody regardless of the ticket issue, anybody who wanted to see the fireworks, they were able to see the fireworks on Cornell. They got the same view as if anybody was down at Fort Freedoms. And it was a really good night. We had food trucks. We had an abundance of porta potties.
Oh, that's very important.
We had the porta potties. We had, they were everywhere. I didn't hear one person complain that they couldn't find a porta potty. As someone wrote about the porta potties.
Chief, 45 minutes, we got the island. Was,
And when the fireworks were over, 45 minutes later, the entire island was clear of anyone who wanted to leave the island.
Congratulations, guys, that's amazing.
And
Can I just
so-
add some
Yes,
congratulatory
let him-
words here?
let him finish, Frank, and then I'll call
Oh,
on you.
sorry.
And we had the help of Frank and the Red Cross. They were phenomenal. They did a great job. All the any volunteers that we had, they did a great job. Anybody who was involved with this wasn't just a PSD. We had so much help, but we had a good plan, and we had a good plan to have people come on the island, have a great time, and leave the island in a safe manner. And so that's what we strive for, and for the most part, it was very effective.
Frank, and I had one question when he's finished. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I have to say, if I can take it a step higher here, this is really one of the best planned activities I think RIOC has had ever. I think they had all the bases covered down at the park. We had 20 Red Crossers supporting all of the responders there, doing officially what's called canteening, bringing water, snacks, and whatever. And we covered everything from the bottom to the top of the island out to Queens to support DOT and traffic control out there. But I will say that the things that they did, like they had the planning on the porta potties, very good. They also had messaging on where the emergency medical stuff was. They had planning on the routes in and out that would very effectively worked on the outflow, which has typically been a problem, for many years. It's like a 2 or 3 hour wait. As he says, 45 minutes. I was very impressed with that, and everything moved. The water locations, all of that was thought out. Very excellent job in planning, and I saw great coordination among all of the organizations that the chief had mentioned there. So yeah, it worked out well. It was not like it had been, I think, back in 2007 or 8. There was like 3 hours and the roads were all blocked, and and it was pretty jammed at the subway station. This is a very good operations, and whatever you, I'm sure you had some lessons learned, but whatever you can clone from this, for your major events, this was a successful plan. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Mickey, who had that, he was so nervous that he wouldn't get onto the island. Did you have any problems with people who live here being able to get on the island and park? I just remember one time, the delays coming in, DOT, you had expressed the concerns. Everything worked fine getting on as well as getting off?
Anybody who wanted to get on the island and live and was a resident here was allowed on the island, regardless of what time it was.
Oh, so even after, originally the
Yes.
the RIOC notice had said 3 or something, and that.
I think that notice was sent out to encourage people to not try to get on the island during the fireworks time. But anybody who wanted to get on the island and they belonged to Motorgate, they were allowed on the island.
Terrific.
Up until including almost 9 o'clock.
Oh, good. Well, that's good to hear. Okay, any comments on that before Kevin moves on? Okay, so the next thing is the delivery woman, the potato chip woman. Do we have any updates yet? I haven't seemed to be able to get my
Well, did you miss
Oil
the
pack.
National Night Out? Did you miss the National Night Out, or that's a different item on the agenda?
No, do
It's-
you want to
it's-
discuss that? We weren't necessarily discussing that, but we can. Kevin, do you want to talk about that first, the National Night Out?
I gotta say, it wasn't on the agenda, but I think that National Night Out is a great night for law enforcement in the community. RIOC goes out of their way to introduce as many of our PSC officers to the community. And I think that one unfair tactic is that when you have food, people will show up. And we have popcorn, hot dogs,
Ice
give
cream.
water, ice cream. We give away free ice cream to every single person that wants an ice cream cone. And we have a great night. We have a helicopter who comes over and hovers over Roosevelt Island, just to show our willingness and partnership with the community. On this night, we have NYPD officers come. We had a canine dog with their handler on the island. So it is a night that I am very, very proud of. That is our night to extend our hand to the community and let the community know that we are here and we are here to help and serve the community and make this the safest place possible in New York City.
And Aaron, I want to add it to the agenda.
It's on. I
Okay.
got my notes.
Thank you.
Had I known, I was in Provincetown, so I missed it. And Mary sent me something and I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should go. She said, this was last week. So I missed, I was away. Frank, I see your hand up. Make it quick because this is
Very
so
quick.
horrible with the background noise. It makes it hard.
Sorry. Just real quickly, there were some people from National, from Red Cross, who were very impressed with the community. So they go out and they've seen a lot of these. So There's an article about Roosevelt Island's National Night Out on the National Red Cross website. I'll send you the link.
And
Okay.
just
Okay,
going to
potato chip lady.
that is it's a legal issue right now. We really can't discuss it. And you know, she has served RIOC with the notice, and we have to let our legal department handle this at this time.
What do you mean she served RIOC with a notice of what?
A notice of her. She wanted all of her records according to she hired a lawyer,
Right,
and they wanted all of the preliminary information about the incident.
okay.
And
Now-
RIOC is they are having their discussions.
Okay, I heard that she did go and the summonses and things were favorable, ended up being able to be somewhat favorable for her. So I guess, I don't know what they did. But-
We really can't even discuss it, Aaron.
Yeah, right. Well, my point though, we can't discuss, but have you been able to get your FOIL request? Frank, you did a FOIL request. Have you gotten anything back? I've only gotten
Yes,
delays.
yeah.
I actually got a response. They said basically they can withhold it, you know, because it's private information. It's not, I have to appeal it, but you know, it just, this is information that's sitting, you know, the videos of whatever traffic was going by at the time. It's not private information, so I'll appeal
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's get on that. I have the same issue. Okay,
I'm
and
happy to
Kevin,
share
have you been able to
documentation.
get yours? Have you been able to see it? Because you weren't able to do anything until you saw it. You wanted to see the videos because that was all we had on information, because it's an internal thing. It's not only external thing. It's an internal thing as far as our staff, right? As far as the officers involved and whether or not, you know, there was any thing that could have been done better. So you had wanted, before talking to anybody, you, for internal purposes, had wanted to see the videos as well, or whatever information you could get. Have you been able to get that since you work for RIOC? I mean, you know.
I have the information.
And so what do you, I mean, as far as it goes, you're not saying anything you had said you thought it could have been handled differently, and you didn't want to take anything because you didn't have any proof.
Hold on. Until this issue is resolved with RIOC and lawyers and her lawyer, we
Right,
can't, there's nothing that we could talk about. And it's ongoing, and I talked to Gretchen this afternoon, and she said there's nothing that we can talk about at this time.
okay. Frank, is that a new hand or an old hand?
Old hand, we're lowering it.
Okay. Okay, any other new business? Mary?
Yes, I had a thought, and I don't know if it's doable or not. Very often I see bike riding on the sidewalk.
Mm,
One day recently, I was sitting in Trellis and two bikes went by, and there was a public safety officer on the other side of the street. Now, I don't fault that officer for not doing anything because he's on his feet and the bikes are rolling. So he couldn't have gotten to them anyway. And I was wondering, could our public safety officers be given whistles
oh,
so that when a bike is on the sidewalk, which is a not uncommon thing, or one of those motor scooters, they can't catch it, but they could whistle at it and maybe get their attention. Is that a decent thought?
Mary, I'm gonna be honest with you. We're not giving our officers whistles to whistle at bicycles that pass by.
Well, how are you going to put up a sign that says nothing with wheels allowed on the sidewalks?
Hold on, it's against the law for a person over the age of 13 to ride on the sidewalk. However, I can tell you this, Mary. You know, if we had a whistle, and one of my officers started whistling, it would have to be for someone in dire distress, someone in dire danger, And we do patrol the bicyclists on the sidewalk. For the most part, we give out, warnings. We have given out summonses in the past for people who ride their bicycles on the sidewalk. But my officers are not, and I'm just gonna be totally.
Okay, I accept your answer. A whistle is not a good idea. But
It's
I
actually
saw,
dangerous.
today I saw a child on a scooter. And I'm telling you, he was making tracks. And I thought, well, he's too young. He can't be out on the street. I guess he's got to be on the sidewalk.
They're allowed to be on the sidewalk.
The children are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he was really going fast. He could have,
It's
if he hit
dangerous.
somebody, he would have caused some serious damage.
No, I think that that's a problem sometimes with when it's crowded, person,
And
but they can't do
I-
anything legally. They have to be because it's more dangerous in the street. Streets are still in terrible repair though, right?
Oh.
The streets, this is
Awful.
also an issue. Go ahead, Rick, your hand is up.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, there was an issue at the Roosevelt Island Manhattan tram station with very long lines, down to Second Avenue. And public safety had to go over there to handle the crowds. So one of the issues that came up was from several residents that said that part of the reason for the long lines is that there are people on the line who are waiting to go to the MetroCard machine. But there are residents that didn't have to go to the MetroCard machine, but they had to wait to the end of that MetroCard line.
Oh, I can tell you this, and I'm not sure which day you were
Bless
talking. I don't know which day you're speaking about, but there was one day, a Sunday, that this happened. Prior to that, I had been on the Manhattan side when there were long lines. And what our PSC officers have been instructed to do is that anyone who has a Metro card, we let them come right to the front of the line and get right on the tram. That the people who are waiting to use the machines, they have to wait in line. We have, when we've seen this and the lines are long, we get anyone with a Metro card right to the front of the line and they get on the tram and they go wherever they have to go. People that have the Metro card in the machine, they have to wait online. They have been instructed to help these people. And that's why when this happened, I think Deputy Amoroso had got the first call. We dispatched 2 additional officers over to Manhattan, and they got the people right on the line. And the people who were waiting, they were people with Metro who did not have Metro cards.
So there were several people that had Metro cards that went over to the PSD officer on the site, and the people with the Metro cards have said you have to wait at the end of the line.
Rick,
I don't know. Those people did not complain to me. I
Yeah.
never got that complaint.
have them send me an email, Rick, because
I never heard that complaint because
All right. Well,
our
I'm just
officers
saying,
have
I'm
been
glad
instructed.
I'm glad that the
That's-
policy is if you have a Metro
Yeah.
card, you don't have to wait on the end of the line.
Right, you put that in your paper in the blog now, so people know that.
Yeah.
You know,
know,
the
a lot
issue
of-
is people don't know and they stand online and, if that's the rule, then that needs to be put out there so that people are aware of that. And maybe 2 lines need to be formed.
It's not
Rick-
2 lines. We send 2 officers over. One officer who's down the stairs of the line, and we have people come right to the front of the line and right onto the tram, use their Metro card and swipe. Because the majority of the people at those times are people who have to buy a Metro card, use the machine.
Yeah.
They don't have the correct change or something's going on and it takes longer. The people who have Metro cards, we whisk them right to the front of the line and right on the tram. I didn't get one complaint from someone who had to wait additionally because they had a Metro card.
That's sometimes is the problem, Rick, when we get like a third person telling for somebody else. If that person had a problem with a call, we would have dealt with that problem. And I was on that problem that night and on that Sunday, and I had no issues with that. So, like sometimes the complaints come in and they get exaggerated because it's not being told, it plays that telephone game when it doesn't come directly from the person.
No, I'm glad that's the policy. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so any other comments or suggestions, Mary?
I just wanted to add to that conversation, Rick. I think that was at the exact time when the Metro card machines on the island were not working.
That wasn't that time.
That wasn't that time, Mary. It was Sunday. That's
It was a Sunday night.
And it was one, I believe it was one car that we had running, so there was lines anyhow. And we kept order to the stairs and safety to the stairs, and we had officers over there. I was on top of it.
Great. Okay, thank you so much. All righty. Anything else? Hi, Shirley.
Hi,
Welcome.
how are you? Thank you.
Good
I
smile.
was working in the house. I completely,
That's all right. I got the notes. I'll let you know. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chief Brown and Deputy Chief Amorosa, for coming and being here today. I know the summer is for every other committee and for RIRA is a vacation, but not this committee. We always tend to work through it, and I appreciate you working through it with us. It always brings comfort to people to be able to at least express themselves, even if we've heard it 100 times. But
And Aaron, I want to thank the chief too tonight for coming, because he did have plans. He canceled his plans, so
we've already told him, we've acknowledged his.
I just want everyone to know that he canceled his
He
plans.
already told
the
us,
meeting.
you're late. He's already told us, selfless, come on. No,
telling
thank you,
you,
Chief
I want
Brown.
to thank him myself.
Appreciate it. You're scared to be alone with us, eh?
No, I'm not. I just think that that's very admirable.
It was. I agree. Thank you,
He's
Chief
a
Brown.
chief, and he always wants to be there, and he wants to be part of it. So I find it very admirable.
Good. I agree. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
All right,
And
thank
we'll see
you.
you next month.
All
Thank
right,
you.
we'll see you. All right,
All right.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Be safe. All right,
good night.
good
Night.
night.